the day star of words dawning above the horizon of the utterance of Him, who is the Lord of all names and attributes, hath at this most blessed of hours shone forth in all truth with the splendors of the light of God. The spirit of understanding flowing from the pen of the all-glorious hath by virtue of His grace been conferred upon all created things. The mystery of all mysteries, emerging from behind the veils of concealment, hath in very truth been revealed to the righteous as bidden by God, the Almighty, the Unconstrained. God, the most powerful, the most exalted, the most great, addresseth the holy beings created through the primal word that proceedeth from His mouth, and beyond them the concourse on high, and beyond them those whom He hath sanctified above the comprehension of all who are on earth and in heaven, and whom He hath raised up through His hidden and inscrutable will, saying, Rejoice in your very souls, for the most auspicious time hath come, and the hour hath struck round which revolve all other hours foretold in the tablets of God, the Almighty, the All-Glorious, the most merciful. And the hidden morn hath broken forth in this treasured name from the dayspring of divinity, shedding its radiance upon all that hath been and all that shall be. Blessed be the Lord of all bounty, the source of this supernal grace. The promised day of God is come. He who is the manifestation of the adored one hath been established upon the throne of His name, the all-loving, and the sun of His bounty hath cast its rays upon the seeing and seen alike. Wherefore renounce ye, O denizens of the realms of limitation, that which ye possess. Adorn your temples with His glorious vesture, and behold with untainted vision Him who is the luminous beauty of God seated upon the throne of glory in His transcendent, His almighty, and all-subduing sovereignty. All praise be to the best beloved, who hath revealed His hidden beauty with such manifest authority. All days have attained their consummation in this most august of days, and all hours in this noblest of hours, and the unseen hath willed to confer every grace upon the inmates of earth and heaven, to establish before all who are in the kingdoms of revelation and creation the manifestation of God and His loftiness, and the sovereignty of God and His grandeur, that His favor might be made complete unto His servants and His bounty fulfilled unto His creation. And yet, when once He appeared, the eyes of all who had awaited Him were dazzled, save for those whom His might hath protected, and from whose sight He hath lifted all worldly veils. Blessed then be He who hath been made manifest through the power of truth in this wondrous, this shining vesture. Baha'u'llah.
Ishe Olua, Kole Bajeo, Ishe Olua, Kole Bajeo, Kole Bajeo, Kole Bajeo, Ishe Olua, Kole Bajeo. The lullaby.
And when the appointed hour of his revelation struck on this promised day, the veils of destiny were rent asunder, and the divine decree was fulfilled with the rapture of the luminary of the heaven of eternity from the city of Baghdad. This came to pass by reason of what the hands of the malicious hath wrought against this light, a light that hath outshone every other in its sacred and wondrous splendor. Blessed then be he who hath sent down these twin revelations through his most great, his most mighty sovereignty. At the advent of this manifestation, the realities of all created things were filled with joy, and all seized the cup of ecstasy with the hands of longing and rapture, and drank thereof the choicest wine for love of this beauty, a beauty that hath appeared through the power of truth, arrayed with the ornament of God, the sovereign, the just, the all-wise. Blessed then be he who, through this revelation, hath attracted the hearts of the well-favored of the Lord. Say, this is the day for which the pen of the Most High hath ordained no peer, and whose like the denizens of the concourse on high, and the realities of the prophets and messengers of God hath never obtained. Blessed then be he who hath made manifest this hallowed and sacred, this mighty and wondrous day. This is the day whereon the pillars of the throne trembled in their yearning for God to establish himself thereon, the day whereon the foundations of the most lofty seat were stirred into motion. Blessed then be God, the source of this rapture that hath seized the entire creation. This is the day whereon the sun of beauty dawned above the horizon of the continents of God, the most exalted, the most great, and the clouds of bounty rain down, and the trees of paradise yield such fruits as God hath apportioned to them, that turn unto him with radiant hearts in this dispensation. Blessed then be God, who hath ordained this surpassing grace. This is the day whereon the spirits departed from their bodies in their eagerness to behold the unveiled countenance of the ancient beauty. Blessed then be the one who hath manifest this mighty day. This is the day whereon the most great spirit was embodied in the most comely of forms, and, proceeding from the realm on high, approached the scene of transcendent glory with such radiance as to delight the maid of heaven, until she paused, suspended in the air before our presence, with such an adorning as to seize with longing the hearts of the messengers of God. Blessed then be God, who hath created this noble angel.
والله این بخشنده مهربان یاران را دل و جان شادمان کن و روح و وجدان جنت رضوان فرما در هر دمی تایید جدید باش و در هر نفسی نفس رحمانی بفرست. نفوس را آیات هدا کن و وجوه را سرج ملأ اعلی. زبانها گویا کن و گوشها شنوا نما تا ترتیل آیات تقدیس کنند و استماع الهام بدیع از ملکوت جدید. هر یک را کوکبی میکن و از افق موهبت کبرا درخشنده فرما تا از مشرق خدا به قرون و آثار بتابند. تویی مقتدر و عزیز و بخشنده و درخشنده و دانا. لا اله الا انت عزیز مستعان.
Hello, I would like to tell you the story of the events that led up to the great festival the Baha'is are now celebrating, which we call Rizvan. Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith, was one of the early believers in a young man known to history as the Bab. And Baha'u'llah, very early in the ministry of the Bab, became one of his leading supporters. And the Baha'u'llah was from a very illustrious family. His father was descended from the Sasanian kings. Baha'u'llah's father was a minister in the court of the Shah at that time, and many expected Baha'u'llah to take up his father's position, which he declined to do. He was much more interested in taking care of the many people for whom his father was responsible. Baha'u'llah tended to all the needs of all the poor and the needy. He was known to many long before he became the prophet Baha'u'llah as the father of the poor, and his wife Nawab was known as the mother of consolation. Baha'u'llah in 1850 was swept up with all of the Baha'is, and by 1850 there were terrible, terrible persecutions all across Iran, and Baha'u'llah was thrown into a deep dungeon known as the Black Pit, the Sia Chal. In this dungeon he had a great vision which intimated to him his future role. He barely escaped being executed and was sent in exile to the city of Baghdad. This was in the middle of winter. He had been in that prison for 4 months. Chains had dug deep into his shoulders and neck, and he was in terrible physical shape. He made that trip with his young children and about 50 followers of his who insisted on coming with him on his exile to Baghdad. They rented a house in Baghdad, and soon it became apparent that his, Baha'u'llah's half-brother, causing great dissension because of his jealousness of the natural leadership abilities of Baha'u'llah. So Baha'u'llah left for the mountains and spent nearly 2 years exiling himself from his family and his friends, living all alone. Baha'u'llah became very well known in those mountains, and soon his family begged him to return. And the the Baha'i community began to grow by leaps and bounds in Baghdad. So much so that within a few years, the authorities of Baghdad were very distraught, urged on by the ambassador from Persia, and insisted that Baha'u'llah should be banished further to the north to Constantinople. To accomplish this was very difficult. They had their small house and nearly 100 people who insisted on going with him into banishment. And so in order to facilitate, one of the Baha'is located a garden outside the city of Baghdad where they could assemble tents and horses and all the things that they would need for the difficult journey north to Constantinople. It is known to all Baha'is as the Garden of Rizvan, or the Garden of Paradise. So I hope that you understand a little bit more of what preceded this wonderful festival.
Oh Lord, I'm a child, enable me to grow beneath the shadow of thy loving kindness. I am a tender plant, causing to be nurtured through the outpourings of the clouds of thy bounty. I am a sapling in the garden of love. Cause me to be a fruitful tree. Thou art the mighty and the powerful. Thou art the all-knowing, the all-loving, the all-seeing, the all-seeing. I am a child. Enable me to grow beneath the shadow of thy loving kindness. Enable me to grow beneath the shadow of thy loving kindness.
Aloha, friends. Happy Rizvan. For the devotional program today, I will be reciting an Arabic tablet of Baha'u'llah, revealed for the auspicious occasion of the Festival of Ridvan. This is a relatively short tablet. It was revealed sometime during the Blessed Beauty's incarceration in the prison city of Akka. In it, he alludes to the prison cell where he dwelled, having been decorated lavishly to celebrate the occasion of the Festival of Ridvan. He also makes mention of his beloved followers who have been deprived of attaining his presence and of seeing his countenance. He also calls upon God to bestow his good favors and his blessings upon all of his beloved followers during this blessed occasion. This tablet was recently translated into English and is available in the Days of Remembrance compilation on Baha'i Holy Days. هو الله سبحانك اللهم يا إلهي هذا يوم من أيام عيدك رضوان وفيه زين محل من السجن لظهور جمالك إجابة لمن حمله الشوق على استدعائك لك الحمد بما أشرقت من أفوق السجن في هذا اليوم بتجل استضاء منه الآفاق فضلا من عندك على من في ظلك وحولك وفيه فتحت اللسان بالبيان ونثرت لآلي المعاني والبيان على أهل الأكوان أي رب فأحي بهذا الكأس من على الأرض كلها وقدر لأهل البهاء الذين أرادوا وجهك ومنعوا بما اكتسبت أيادي أعدائك ما هو خير لهم يا سلطان الأسماء ومالك الأرض والسماء ثم أجعل لهم نصيبا من فيوضات تلك الأيام التي فيها استعلى كل دان واستجمل كل مقبل واشتعل كل مخمود واستغنى كل فقير واستهل كل قاصد. أي رب، لك الحمد بما اختصصت أحبتك واخترتهم من بين بريتك، ويكون طرفك ناظرا إليهم من هذا المقام الذي فيه سجن هيكل أمرك. أي رب، لا تمنعهم عما عندك، ثم أجذب قلوبهم من نفحات وحيك على شأن يجعلهم منقطعا عما سواك ومقبلا إلى شطر فضلك وإحسانك. إنك أنت المقتدر على ما تشاء، وإنك على كل شيء قدير، والحمد لك يا مقصود العالمين.
I bear witness, O my God, that thou hast ordained this day to stand unequaled amongst all the days of thy world, and unrivaled amidst all that thou hast fashioned through thy creative power. This is that primal day which thou hast singled out among all other days, and exalted over all other times, and appointed as the King of days unto all peoples, inasmuch as thou didst manifest on this day the tokens of thy transcendent power and the evidences of thy holy unity. Thou hast caused its radiance to surpass the splendor of the sun, the moon, and the stars, and to transcend the brightness of every lofty and glorious, every shining and brilliant light. Nay, thou hast illumined this day, O my best beloved, with the very lights of thine own inaccessible being, and with thy full glory of thine own exalted essence. Magnified then be this day wherein thou hast revealed unto all things the effulgent lights of thy glorious unity, and cast upon all creation the radiance of thy sovereign and transcendent oneness. The day whereon thou hast lifted the veil of concealment from the countenance of thy beauty, burned away through thy gracious favor the shrouds of idle fancy, binding the eyes of the people, and summoned all to partake of thy nearness and reunion. Immensely glorified be this day whereon the oceans of splendor and grace have surged and the rivers of bounty and justice have flowed. A day whereon thy bounty hath attained such a degree that every stammering tongue hath celebrated thy praise. Every blind eye hath beheld the lights of thy beauty, and every deaf ear hath hearkened into the glorious strains of the dove of thy oneness. Grant, O my God, that this festival may be a source of blessings for them and for all thy loved ones. Supply them then with all the good thou dost ordain in the heaven of thy decree, and purpose in the tablets of thy protection and behest. Vanquish then, O my God, in the course of this year, their enemies through the power of thy wrath and of thy resistless might, and ordain for them, O my God, all that I have asked of thee, and all that I have left unasked. Endue them then with such constancy in thy love and in thy cause, that they may never break thy covenant nor violate thy testament, to which they pledge themselves heir to the creation of the heavens and the earth. Render them victorious through the most wondrous means that lie hid in the treasures of thy power and the repositories of thy might, and grant them, O my God, to attain the hour that thou didst promise them in thy latter resurrection, through the appearance of the manifest of thine all-glorious self. For this, in truth, is the very object of their existence, and the existence of all things, the cause of their creation and the creation of all things, Suffer them then, O my God, to submit thy will under all conditions. Verily, thou art the Lord of grace and bounty, of endless bestowal and unfettered sovereignty. Thou art verily the most exalted, the Almighty, the All-Bountiful. Baha'u'llah.
In this day, Baha'u'llah, talking to the world about justice. Oh, what a wonder is justice. Surely it's the day of God.
In this day, Baha'u'llah, talking to the world about oneness.